Hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight, two outstanding coaches and some outstanding guests. But before we get to that, how about this past week in high school football? Of course, the biggest story by far is the big win the Spain Park Jags had over their arch rival, the Hoover Bucks, 17-0 this past Thursday night. The significance of that ball game is so important, especially to the folks at Spain Park. First of all, it was their 14th try. It took them 14 years to finally beat the Hoover Bucks. Even more importantly than that, the Hoover Bucks had not lost a region game, folks. You're going to find this hard to believe. In the last 6 to 7 years, 43 games in a row they had won in regional play. And so that's almost unheard of. I don't know if it's a record that'll ever be matched again or not. But having said that, then in Class 7A, there's a good chance that there'll be another number one team as we head into this week's edition of Alabama High School football. Class 6A, the Clay Chalkville Cougars still having a great run. They're undefeated. Of course, we had Jerry Hood and some of his players on our show last week. In volleyball, which, by the way, if nothing happens, is coming next week. We'll have our first volleyball guest of the year in Class 7A. Mountain Brook is number one in the state, while in Class 6A, the John Carroll Cavaliers are number one in volleyball. So we look forward to our first volleyball coaches. We don't know who they'll be yet, but hopefully that's what we'll have next week. Now we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our first guest of the evening. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Enjoy the summer even more with great savings from Sarah Mazda.
That's right. This is your summer to save. Get spectacular summer savings on a new Mazda. Save on new 2015 Mazda 3s, only $159 a month. Mazda 6s, only $179 a month. Or take the family on a summer trip in a Mazda CX-5 for $199 a month. And during Mazda's Summer Drive event, get a new Mazda and your first two payments are on us. Plus, all new Sarah Mazdas come with our lifetime warranty and Sarah Signature.
Get incredible summer savings at Sarah Mazda,
where we'll put you in the driver's seat.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
Good driver discount, multi-car discount, good student discount. Helping you save money on car insurance is just part of the service you get from State Farm agent Jack Traffinstead. Whether an accident or a simple question, Jack and his staff get you the help you need. And that's the value only a State Farm agent can provide. Call Jack Traffinstead today. 40 million drivers already know nobody gives more discounts to more drivers than State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. As we talked about earlier, our first guest of the evening is somebody that should be a pretty happy guy tonight. We're talking about Sean Rainey, the head coach of the Spain Park Jags. And I guess, Coach, the first question I'd ask is, have you guys come back down to earth yet?
I think so. We had a really good practice today, and that's, as a head coach, that's what you worry about with the kids a little bit. But playing on Thursday, getting the kids Friday, that was kind of the day we celebrated. Then we got a chance to work out on Friday, so we kind of started to kind of ground them that day. And I thought we had a real excellent practice today, so I think they're ready to move on and see what else we can get done this year.
Well, I know, folks, what we're talking about, of course, was Spain Park's big win over Hoover last Thursday night, 17-0. The significance of that win, like we talked about, the first time in 14 seasons, it's the first win for them, plus it was Hoover's first regional loss in 43 ball games. So The main thing though is, Coach, we can forget that 43. The important number was that you guys got your first win, and that has to be gratifying, because I know it's sort of like being a stepchild or something to you. Now you're on sort of a more even playing field, right?
It is, and you know it's a big deal, but until it happens, you don't realize the magnitude that it has. And I talked to somebody on Friday. I got emails from former students, Spain Park students in California and Kansas, and they emailed me, and Mr. Kellogg, our AD, just talking about how important that win for us. So you don't really understand the magnitude until it happens, but it was a lot of fun.
And Coach, it's been a while since you've been on my show, so people that may not know this, tell us about your background and how you actually end up the head coach there at Spain Park.
It's kind of a long story. I'm originally from Oklahoma, and I got into college coaching and wound up taking a job at UAB, and about 2 months after I got married. So Birmingham was our first home as a married couple. Went to Iowa State with Gene Chizik when he was a head coach there, and when he left to Auburn, we kind of talked about, moving back to the Birmingham area. Spent a year at Oak Mountain as a defense coordinator, then went to Hoover for 3 years, and just kind of the doors opened at Spain Park, and I've been blessed to be there for 3. This is my 3rd season, so really enjoy it there.
Well, I knew that one thing people didn't realize, a lot of folks might not have, is that you had that coaching stint at Hoover, so it had to be even more special for you as it is for your players. And Coach, getting back to this season, you guys, I think you're 5-1, 4-0 in the region. So at this point of the season, you got to feel good about where you are. Not only as for the whole record for the whole year, but the region games the one that determines where we do or do not make the playoffs, and if we're at home or away. So each one of those games are very important. What I would like for you to talk about just a few minutes, Coach, here is the 3 aspects of this year's team. One, your kicking game, offense, and defense.
Yeah. Well, we did not make the playoffs last year, and in the region that we're in, it's every week, and so that's what we preach to the kids. After when we started in January in our off-season program, the kids have really taken heart to that to get us where we're at now. The 3 aspects, as we sit down each year and evaluate our staff, what we're trying to get done, we thought offensively we had 2 really good tailbacks, and Larry Wooden and Wade Streeter. So we kind of developed an offense to feature those 2 guys. So that's kind of, and it's what has happened with our team. We're running it, eating clock, playing good defense, which I'm a defensive coach, and that's what I believe in. Defensively, I think, we went to Austin and lost the first game of the year, and I think that helped us. It kind of centered us where we need to improve, and the kids took that to heart, and I feel like we've gotten better each week on those 2 sides of the ball.
And that is one of those kind of games, and talk about that a second too. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there is such a thing as a good loss sometimes,
yes,
isn't it?
Which we don't like to experience, but it's that we didn't have a jamboree or anything, so we didn't really know where we were at. And after the first game, we found out exactly where we was at, and the kids corrected everything. They're making corrections as we go, which is all you can ask for as a coach each week to get better. To finish off our 3 phases, our kicking game, we start with 2 great kickers. We're fortunate to have 2 guys. Crosby Gray is a kid that's kicked for us basically for 3 years. Tyler Sumter's a kid that moved in from Springville, and he does our kickoffs and punt, and Crosby does our place kick, and he's kicked 2 to win football games for us. So those kids, the whole thing that I enjoy about this team is they feed off each other. There's no, we got 2 running backs that share carries, which in today's world, that's asking a lot, I think. And we got 2 kickers. There's no jealousy of what's going on. They enjoy working together and helping each other getting better. And I think that's the biggest thing about this team this year. It is a true team that we've developed with our kids and our coaching staff, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
And the big part of this question that I think goes pretty much along with some of the things you've talked about, talk about the importance of having a good staff, because I'm sure you've got one, and what that means to you.
It's an incredible staff, and when I went to Spain Park, I inherited the staff that was there. So it was, I was trying to figure out them. They was trying to figure out me. So, and I think as we went along the last 2 years, it's just we're kind of like our kids. We've developed a team that we know what to expect each other, know each other's strengths and weaknesses. They kind of have figured that out about me, and it's a lot more cohesive unit than I had the first 2 years.
Well, now I know moving into Spain Park, and boy, time gets away, we've only got a couple of minutes left. Moving into Spain Park, and there you have been 3 years. Talk about the importance of the support you have from the community and the parents, and as well as the administration.
It's unbelievable. It's, I kid the kids all the time about they're spoiled. I mean, everything, we ride charter buses, they got the best equipment. We got nice coaching clothes. We've got every resource we have. You walk into our school, it's one of the most beautiful high schools I've ever been into. So, the first couple of months I got the job, I would drive up early in the morning and just thank the Lord that how did I wind up here from a flat land of Oklahoma. So it's a special place with a lot of special people in it. I spent 3 years at Hoover. The whole Hoover City school system is filled with special people as the kids we churn out at both schools, and it's a pleasure to go to work there every day.
Well, I know it's been a wonderful experience the last few days, celebrating probably one of the most important wins, if not the most important win in your school's history. Big game that's coming Friday night, though, another region game, and they're all big this time of the year. And so I guess going into it, health-wise, your team in pretty good shape?
Pretty good shape. We got a couple of kids that are banged up a little bit. Jonah Tibbs is one here tonight that hurt his shoulder a little bit, but other than that, we've stayed healthy throughout the year.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, I know what it's like to miss the playoffs. We did last year as well, and we're doing our best to get back.
Yep.
And it looks like you and your kids are too. So I want to wish you good luck the rest of the way. Of course, not when you play us,
Yes,
of course. We'd love to win by just one.
Yep.
But have a great rest of the season. I know, and enjoy the win. You have to put it in the rearview mirror for a little bit, but congratulations and best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you. I appreciate you having
We're
us
going
on.
to take a quick break. When we come back, 3 young men that have been very instrumental in the great start that they've got at Spain Park this year. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. A company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their #1 objective.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm. Saved $760. Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite, turkey, and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well. And folks, as you can tell, I got 3 stripping young athletes sitting next to me here, and they're probably pretty happy today for 2 reasons. One, they've had a great season so far, and also they've had the biggest win in their school's history so far, just happened. So guys, good to have you with us. Gray Best, a senior, the center, sitting next to him, Mikael Clark, a senior as well, defensive tackle, Mikael?
Yes, sir.
And Jonah Tibbs, senior defensive tackle, right?
Yes,
All right, guys, as we start this interview, and first of all, we'll start with you, Gray. Try to describe the feeling that you and your teammates had when you finally won that ball game Thursday night.
There's nothing really to describe that because it was the first feeling, but it was oh my God, I was on cloud nine. It was insane. Knowing the fact that after 43 years, or 42 games that they won, we finally beat them in the region game. Beat them. We've always been kind of their little sister, their little brother compared to a big school like that because they're a great program. But it was a great feeling. Well,
let me ask you this, and evidently y'all played a great ball game. I wasn't there, I've heard a lot about it. But going into that game, what was the feeling for you personally? Did you think that this team might be good enough to be that team to win finally?
Going into it, we had a great week of practice. We have a great team in general when it comes to working hard and having a work ethic because football is a grind. But when we came into the game, you have to play scared. You have to play like they're about to take something away from you. And they have sure taken us a lot away from us, but we knew what was expected and we executed.
Mikhail, how about you? It had to be special. All you guys are seniors, so you've experienced losing to Hoover.
Yes, sir.
And how do you feel?
And I just moved in from Georgia, and I heard about the big Spain Park Hoover rivalry before I came over here, and the feeling to win on Thursday night, it was great because I just wanted to do everything I could to go out there and help my team win because, I hadn't experienced losing to them before, but I knew it had to have felt bad. So I just went out there with the mindset of I'm going to do everything in my power to help them win that game.
Well, that's an interesting concept because I had no idea that you were a new player on the team, but right into this, then you could tell from the guys around you what a big ball game that was for them this past Thursday night, right? Jonah, how about you?
It was a great win. Going into it, we had a great week of practice. The coaches put in a great game plan. Everyone executed it to perfection, and we felt good going in on Friday. Winning the game is a dream come true. You grow up as a Spain Park Jag, you want to beat Hoover, and so it was great to be the first class to finally take them down.
Well, I tell you, you guys have had a great season thus far. And Jonah, going into this year, you've been a senior, been around the program a while. Did you have the feeling that this might be the year that y'all put it all together, so to speak?
Definitely. Our team is definitely gelling better than we've ever have. It felt different. It felt electric. It felt like we could finally take them. And we all believed that we could take them down, and we did.
Gray, expanding on this a little bit, and you talked about how good the team felt and all this. One of the most important aspects of a team and how successful they can and can't be is team chemistry. Mm-hmm. And if you guys like each other, it's a whole. You're going to be the best you can be as an individual, the best you can be as a team if you work together and play together. Talk about the team chemistry and the kind of relationships that you guys have.
It's almost like I see the coaches more than I see my parents. I see them so much, and I think our team really became cohesive after we went to our team camp this summer at Itawamba Community College, and we learned how each other acted outside of football in a way because we stayed in dorms. We just hung out all the time, and we went through all the summer together. We've known each other for a couple of years, and we all want the same goal, and that's what our drive is. We all know what we want. We all know each other's strengths and weaknesses when it comes to practice or games or just life, really, because we know each other so well.
Now, Mikhail, it's a different situation for you. You come into a school and just for your senior season. Had you been at the same high school where you came from for a few years?
Yes, sir.
Talk about the adjustment for you coming in, new kid on the block. The coaches, I don't know if they had much film on you or knew what kind of player you were. What were your expectations when you got to Spain Park?
I expected, for it to be a grind every day, to work hard, and, that's what I did when I came in here. Ever since January, me and myself and everybody else, we've been working our tails off, and, to be able to work out with them all throughout the spring and the winter, it's been great. And you know, I know that I can trust them to have my back, and they also know that I have their back because, you know, I'll never let them skip a rep. They'll never let me skip a rep in the weight room, and it's just kind of like that trust that we have for each other, and it leads us onto the field.
Well, I know, Jonah, one thing that I was wondering about, how much pressure did you put on yourself and you felt like your teammates put on themselves? Coach talked about last year, and I know what it's like because we missed the playoffs too. You're coming up to your senior season, you definitely want to go out a winner if you possibly can. Talk about that mindset of you and your teammates as you came into this season, off of a season where you hadn't made the playoffs.
Going into this year, our coaches told us, do your job, don't try to do anyone else's. And so that's what everyone focused on. They wanted to do their job, not worrying about anything else. So the pressure I put on myself was just to do my job to perfection and then hope that everyone else did theirs and trust them to do that.
Well, I tell you what, guys, you've more than done y'all's job well this far. I think the coach would say that, but we're hoping that, and he's hoping, and I know your fans are hoping that the best is still yet to come. But guys, this is the first time I've met y'all. What I'd like to know is, I know y'all look like tough physical football players. Tell me something about yourself, and we'll start with you, Gray. What if you told us what kind of hobbies do you have, or is there something that you like to do, whether it be write poetry or sing in the shower or hunt or fish or whatever? Tell me something that I wouldn't know about you that I would find interesting.
Well, singing in the shower is definitely one of those, is a given, but I'll probably say I'm a big fishing and hunting guy. I mean, depending on what season it is, but bow season's coming up, so definitely excited about that. But I'm a year-round fisher. I really enjoy to fish.
Well, let me ask you this. Talking about being a hunter on one hand, you're out for the kill, whatever you're hunting, okay, right? All right, how about fishing? I know you want to catch fish all the time, and that's why you go do it. But I also heard people talk about, and guys that fish, how much they enjoy that quiet time on the water. Talk about what do you get out of fishing?
I just get out of just being so peaceful. Like, I mean, I'm a quiet guy in some cases, and the silence, I love silence when it comes, because it makes me focus, especially when you're fishing, because that's all you can do is focus. But I don't know, it's just.
Well, the one thing about that, you said you're a silent guy sometimes. Now, what I want to know, I know all you guys are seniors, and the coaches look for leadership out of their seniors. Are you a boisterous leader, or are you a silent leader?
I'm a mixture of both. It depends on the situation. I mean, if I know I've been in a leader role for a year or two now, and I know that without we can't be a good team if we don't have a good leader, and I've kind of taken that role in a way. But I've realized that I'm more of a silent leader because people think I'm a lineman. They look at more like a quarterback in a way as like a vocal leader, just like storybook ending and stuff like that. But really, I think I take charge from mainly in the trenches and sometimes or mainly on the offense, not both sides.
Okay. Mikhail, how about you? What do I not know about you that I'd find interesting?
A lot of times, you know, when I have my alone time, I like to just sit in my room, listen to 90s music, you know, old music and 2000 music, stuff that people don't listen to today.
Well, so you appreciate that quiet time because your schedule is so hectic between playing football and the academics, and because I talk to you athletes all the time about remembering that you're student athletes first, because if you don't qualify in the classroom, you don't make it to the football field, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jonah, how about you?
If I'm not at football, I'm either at school or I'm at church. I'm very involved in my youth group at Green Valley Baptist. It's a great community. They lift me up when I'm feeling down or feeling I'm not playing like I should be. So when I'm not at school or football, I'm at church.
Well, let me ask you this. I'll ask you the same thing that I asked Gray. Are you a vocal leader or a silent leader?
I'm a very silent leader. I believe that actions speak louder than words. I'm not about to yell at anyone unless I need to. I'd much rather just lead by example.
Well, I tell you what, that's a good philosophy to have, because I tell you, the coaches want the people that maybe walk sort of quietly but carry a big stick, so to speak, you know. And so I understand where you're coming from there. Guys, to this part in your lives, and we've got about a minute and a half here left. Who has been the most inspirational person or persons in your life? And we'll start with you, Gray.
I probably say it's my father, because he taught me through sports, sports teaches you all about life. I mean, you can get kicked down so many times and you just have to get back up. I mean, for football, that's a great example, because you could be down in a game, you just have to fight through it, keep on grinding, and things will turn out for the best.
Good. How about you, Mikhail?
Well, like Gray, of course, I mean my father, because he's brought me to be the man I am today, and I know a lot of times he'll tell me stuff and I don't think, that he's right, but in the long run, usually most of the time he's right. And,
well, we find out as we get older, most of the time our parents were right, don't we? John, how about you?
Definitely my parents. They keep my head on straight, make sure I focus on my academics first, and then be a better football player after that. So I definitely say that my parents are definitely role models.
Well, I tell you what, guys, you look like three outstanding young men. What a big win that y'all were involved in this past Thursday night. Like the coach said, it's time to turn the page now. We got to finish that job, whatever it is, and however many wins are out there in a playoff spot, maybe a chance at a state title before it's over with. Y'all are off to a good start. Congratulations on your big win last week, and best of luck the rest of the season, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, different coach, different athletes. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm. Saved $760. Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Ted Townley in Homewood today.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Oh, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. Like I said, in this segment, I was visiting with a different coach, and of course, we're talking about Roderick Isaac of the Midfield Patriots. Coach, good to see you.
Likewise, good to see you too.
And as we start off this interview, tell us a little bit about your background and what has led you to be the head coach there at Midfield.
Well, I'm a native of Bessemer, Alabama. Played football just near high school up under Carol Cox. Had the opportunity to play in a state championship game. We lost to Robbie Lee. And after that, was awarded a scholarship to Alabama A&M. There I played and started for 4 years, and got numerous accolades there. And just being in the atmosphere of competitiveness, being an athlete, drove me to, because initially I went there to study law. But it was just something about the smell of that green grass just drove me back to want to be in the athletic arena, and definitely to help mold the lives of young men, because athletics has done so much for me. It has blessed me and awarded me with a lot of opportunities. And so I definitely wanted to get back into that arena to impact some young men's lives. And so that's why I chose to go back into the athletic field and to be a coach.
What jobs did you hold before you got to Midfield as far as coaching?
Well, I've been head coach since I graduated from college. I was a middle school head coach for several years, and we won city school championships there. Went to Woodlawn High School, and I was a head coach also. I was defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator in some other school system before I got to Midfield. And as Midfield, Ruben Nelson was the head coach, who's now the head coach at Rams. And I was his defensive coordinator for many years. And after he left and took the Rams job, and that's when I applied for the head coaching job there.
Well, I tell you what, your team this year has been very successful, undefeated in region play, I believe. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
always important. That's going to determine whether you make the playoffs or not. Right. But Coach, as we continue, tell me a little bit about your team, the three phases, the offense, defense, and kicking game.
Well, being a 3A school, and it's the same song each and every year, we don't have a lot of turnover with players. You tend to have a lot of guys who come out for their first year, being their senior year, or being their junior year. And so it's kind of hard when you have those type of kids and athletes to come out who have not played for 3 and 4 years. Right. And so we do have a lot of that. We have some starters who this is their first year and they're juniors in classification. We have 2 starters on the offensive line that we actually have 3 starters on the offensive line, 2 seniors and 1 junior, and this is their very first year ever playing football. And the same thing on defense. And so what we have to do, we have to try to learn on the run. We don't get a lot of practice time, and so it's a fast-paced ordeal, and we just have to make the very best of the time frame in which we have to work with.
Well, now let me ask you, as far as your team is concerned, I'm sure you have to have a lot of your players go both ways, right?
Sure. All of my kids have to learn 3 phases, offense, defense, and the special teams, and a lot of our kids don't come off the field. A lot of the kids don't come off the field. We are fortunate enough to have several kids who only play on 2 sides of the ball. Very seldom we have a kid who plays just strictly offense or strictly defense. But every kid has to learn something on all 3 phases of the football in order for us to be successful. Now we know we've had a little injury bug now, and so now we're down some players, and so now those kids have to come in and play. And so it's just a situation that's part of the game. We know it, and we just have to be prepared for it.
I know another part of the game when you're talking about 3A, the smaller classifications, is travel. Yeah, that's a challenge that a lot of the bigger schools don't face to the degree that you do. And I do the play-by-play for Vestavia, so 7A, and we have to travel every once in a while, but it's not like the smaller schools, and that does present problems for you as well. But it's one, like you say, what's that old saying? It is what it is.
It is what it is, We've played 3 ball games already. And the farthest we've been was down to Beulah last week, and I think it was about 2 hours and 20-minute ride. We had an hour 45 minutes and probably an hour 30-minute drive, and it's fun in a sense on the way back. Going there, it's such a travel, the expense of it. We're a small school, we don't generate a lot of money, and then we're definitely in a tough situation because we're pretty much in the city, surrounded by in the metropolitan area, surrounded by the big schools. Right. And so on Friday nights, a lot of the students at our school want to go and see some of those kids at some of those larger schools. And so we don't generate a lot of revenue. And so when we do generate some revenue, we have to turn around and spend that money back on travel, And so it's tough. It's tough. And it's a lot that goes into 3A and smaller schools. And especially when you're surrounded or you're within the city limits. Some of the schools that's out in the country don't have the generator because that's all they have. But when you're in a situation like we're in, it's tough. It's tough.
How is it for you? Do you have a few coaches? I don't know how many you might have, but and your staff that have been with you, or do you have a turnover very often?
Well, again. A lot of our staffing is either volunteer or they come in after school. We don't have any staff at the school. I'm the only football coach in our system. And so I have 4 other men that come in after hours, after school hours, and they come in and they work with our kids. But it's a tough situation because we don't have coaches in our schools.
You know, I tell you, a lot of people I'm sure don't realize this, that the smaller classifications, some of the problems that you deal with, other coaches don't have to deal with. So that's even more of a burden, and it's also more of a compliment of what you are able to do with your kids and with the help of your volunteer coaches. Hey, my hat's off to you, and that's why we enjoy the opportunity of getting to not only interview the coaches from the big schools, I can interview coaches from anywhere I want to.
Right.
And that's why I like to visit coaches that don't get that much recognition of their program, and it's always good to see you. And I tell you something else, you have done a great job thus far with the team this year, and I know that it seems like unless something happens, a playoff game is in the workings for you guys. So good luck the rest of the season, and thank you for coming by. Always good to visit.
Thank you, Mr. Lancaster.
And folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 3 youngsters have been very instrumental in the great season that Midfield's had thus far. We'll be right back. Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. And like we talked about, 3 outstanding young athletes here from Midfield. Armad Isaac, a senior, as a quarterback. And yes, before you even wonder, it's the coach's son. That does make sense, doesn't it? Then Jermaine Jones, a senior linebacker. And behind him, Thomas Sims, a junior running back. So guys, good to have you with us as we start this segment off. Armand, I think the first question that most people would ask you, and I'm not going to be any different, how is it playing for your dad, having your dad as a head coach?
At home, it's father-son bond, but on the field, I get treated just like everybody else, so I have to grind just like everybody else has to.
Yeah, so when you're looking up thinking, nah, Dad's going to give me a break, it don't work that way.
No,
huh?
sir.
Like,
not at all.
Going into this season, of course, you're a senior. Going into this year, did you think that you and your teammates had the chemistry, the players, the capability of having as good a year as you've had thus far?
Yes, sir. When we came in for summer workouts, I seen a little shine in our team, and I just knew then we just had to keep building. Had some new additions at the beginning from different schools and stuff, so I always knew we had the X factor.
Well, good. Jermaine, being a senior linebacker, one of the most important elements of a team is team chemistry. And what I mean by that, if you guys like each other, you're going to work harder for each other. You're going to work harder for the team. You'll be the best you can possibly be. If there's infighting, that kind of stuff, it always drags down what you're capable of being. So with that thought, Jermaine, talk about the team chemistry on this year's team.
I think the chemistry good. A lot of players been playing.
Did you, going into this year, did you feel like that y'all had the capability of having as good a team or as good a season as if you've had thus far?
Yes, sir. I think so. 'Cause, most of the core people, they've been playing for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, okay, and that's important too, having people coming back. Thomas, you're the underclassman here. Talk about this year's team from your aspect, being a running back. If you could pattern your game after any collegiate player or pro player, who would you like to say your game's sort of like?
Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette.
Oh, okay. Well, now, if you can be like that, you're going to be bad. You're going to be a bad brother, okay?
Yes,
All right, going into this year, now, did you play on the team last year?
Yes, sir.
All right, how did you feel coming into this season? I know that if you weren't as successful last year, your hope is to be successful, especially the next year. And so did you see that your team maybe came in with a different outlook and more determined to be successful?
Yes, sir. Because we had like a bond. Like nobody was here, nobody was there. Everybody was together. Like everything we did.
Now, I don't know. It's hard to tell, and I didn't ask Coach this. I'll ask you, Ahmad. Is there any team or teams on your schedule that you look forward to playing more than others? Do you have a natural rivalry, I guess?
Yes, sir. The rivalry games are every year, Winona and Fairfield. Unfortunately, we lost to both of those teams this year. We played Fultondale. That's a game to get up for. And Friday night, actually, we played Montgomery Academy for region championship. So I could consider that as
are there any teams that you look forward to playing more than others?
Winona and Fairfield.
Really? Because of the proximity where they are? It's sort of like neighborhood. You probably know some of their athletes and they know you. Okay. Jermaine, one thing that's so good about a defensive team is that if the other team don't score, you always got a chance of winning, right? Now, I'll ask you the same question that I asked Thomas. If there's a linebacker in college or the pros that you'd look up to and say, gosh, I'd like to have a game like his, who would it be? Or have you even thought about something like that?
I have.
You have?
Not really. What's his name? I ain't know that linebacker played for Alabama. He was good. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Reggie Ragland is one of them. Okay.
What's his name?
Well, that's all right. Let me tell you this. If you want to pattern yourself after any of those linebackers, you're going to be pretty good because those guys, they've got a good stable of linebackers there at Alabama. Are you one of these guys, do you feel more pressure playing at home or would you rather play on the road? And the reason I asked you that, I've had some athletes that tell me it don't seem like it's as much pressure on them when they go on the road and they're a lot looser or whatever. Do you feel more pressure at home or would you rather play on the road?
It don't matter where we play. I just don't like going on the road because it be taking like a long time.
Yeah.
My legs be dead.
Yeah, well, there's nothing like home cooking, so to speak. I mean, you're playing in familiar surroundings and that kind of thing. That same question for you, Thomas, does it matter to you or do you?
No, sir. I just like playing football.
Well, you don't feel any extra pressure if you're at home or away?
No, sir.
Okay, well, that's good because, like I said, I've had some athletes that say that they do, and it's sort of understandable on one sense because you always want to do good for the home crowd. You always want to win at home. I've met you guys for the first time tonight. Let me ask you this question. If there was something about you, do you have a hobby or, for instance, like, do you like to write poetry or do you like to sing in the shower or what could you tell me, or do you like hunting or fishing? Is there a hobby or what could you tell me that might surprise me about you? And we'll start with your mind.
Actually, I like on Saturdays, because that's really the only day I really have off. I like playing NCAA on the video game, watching college football, listening to music, homework.
So you just like to chill a little bit, sort of wind down from all that pressure and activity during the week, right? How about you, Jeremy?
Same thing. I like playing like 2K and stuff, chilling at home. Because Saturday, they like the only off day.
Right. Yeah, I guarantee you guys stay busy. Thomas, how about you?
I just like to sleep. Like on Fridays, at the big game, hard game, I just like to sleep.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that because we need our rest, don't we? Guys, I like to play make-believe sometimes, and we can do that here. Let's just say that you guys could go to school anywhere you wanted to. What college would it be? And we'll start with your mind.
University of Florida.
University of Florida. What stands out to you about Florida?
I love the football team. I've been actually a Florida Gator fan since I was little, and I just stayed with it all the way to now.
Well, let me ask you, and I hope one day that you end up playing ball at college somewhere, but let's say you don't. What kind of courses would you take? What would you hope to be one day?
I would study in physical therapy or either sports medicine.
So somehow you want to stay in sports?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever considered being a coach?
No, sir.
So you don't feel led in that direction?
Yes, no, sir.
Okay. How about you, Jermaine? Where would you want to go if you could go anywhere you wanted to?
Probably Auburn.
Auburn? All right. If you went down there, what kind of subjects would you take? What would you hope to be one day, maybe?
A trainer.
A trainer? So
Sports
you want to
trainer.
stay in sports too?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever thought about being a coach? That's
No, sir.
you know, and I've asked athletes this a lot. You know, it takes a special. You got to have a sort of a calling for it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's not for everybody, but I know a lot of athletes want to stay in sports though, because one, I guess it's something you love, and if you have a passion for it, then you might want to do that for a living. How about you, Thomas?
Probably Jacksonville State University.
And what kind of courses? What would you hope to do one day?
A doctor or sports therapy.
Oh, okay. Would it be like something sports medicine or general practitioner? Something to keep you involved in sports too. I know that Ahmad, you have younger siblings, but I'm sure being a senior, you've had youngsters come up to you and they look up to you.
Yes, sir.
What would you tell a young man that football, what it's meant to you, and why he should choose maybe playing football?
Well, football is not an easy sport, so you know, you always have adversity. You might be smaller than your opponent, not faster, but always work, be patient, because your time will eventually come.
Yeah, well, that's good. How about you, Jermaine? What would you tell a young athlete? They approached you and said, "Why have you enjoyed getting knocked around on a football field that much? Where do you find the joy in that?" What would you tell him?
I tell them, somebody knocking you, go knock them back down. You
Hey,
find
now
joy in that.
now here's a good thing about it. You talking like that on a football field where you have the perfect opportunity to hit somebody. If they hit you, you can come back and hit them. How about you, Thomas?
Well, I just tell them, like, if do what you really want to do, stay it and be better than everybody around you. Like, work harder on like, when the coach ain't tell you you got to practice, just keep working if that's what you really want to do.
Well, I tell you what, one thing we tell you young athletes all the time, the coach is one reason, and even if it's your dad, the one reason you have to admire the coaches so much is they prepare you not only for your football season, they prepare you guys for life after football, right?
Yes, sir.
And so you can't underestimate what they do. One of the favorite questions I enjoy asking young athletes, and because you get varied answers, but to this point in your lives, who's been the most inspirational person or persons? And we'll start with you, Ahmad.
My family, my parents, they always push me to go the extra mile. Sometimes I might not like it, of course, but they always push me the best out of me.
Good for you. How about you, Jermaine?
My family, my coach, and a couple teachers.
Good, good. And Thomas, how about you?
My mom and my coaches, like all my defense coaches from high school, little league.
Well, the main thing too, as we talked about just a moment ago, is the coaches do so much for you guys, not only preparing you for the football, but for life after high school and even after football, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, guys, y'all have had a great season thus far. It looks like, unless there's a total collapse, which y'all are going to make sure there's not one, right?
Yes, sir.
The playoffs are waiting on you. I tell you what, you go out and win a state championship, we'll come back here and celebrate together.
Yes,
okay?
sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
good, nice to meet you guys, and good luck to y'all the rest of the season.
Nice
all
to
right?
meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
And folks, once again, outstanding show, outstanding coaches, outstanding athletes. Same time, same place. So next week, you know what the snapper always says, bicycle.